And we are live on Zoom. We are live on Facebook. Welcome back, everybody. This is Melissa Cady. I'm the Challenge Doctor with my co-host, Dr. Kevin Cuccaro with the Change Physician. If you are seeing me on the Challenge Doctor side of things, it's because we are cross-posted from the Facebook page of the Change Physician. Feel free to go over there and like that page, or you can find out more about us at thechangephysician.com. Or you can go to any of the favorite podcast locations and find our The Change Physician podcast. We specifically put "the" in front of Change Physician for our podcast name, so you can find us there. But today is all about Saturday salutations, and for Kevin and I to say hi to each other. So hi, Kevin.
Salutations, Dr. Cady.
Yes, and to everyone else out there, we're saying hello and our salutations. We always review the recent podcast episodes, what's coming up, and our favorite things, and maybe some random little tangential conversations. You never know what you're going to get here at the Change Physician.
That's right, because it's full of change.
That's right.
And physicians.
Yes, we've got all of it. And these.
All right, you want me to talk about what's coming up and what's what occurred, the past and the present and the future?
That's right.
All right, so what we had last week was Tiny Habits for Long-Term Health, which was an episode that we did together. We talked about small little incremental steps that you can do, kind of easy things to incorporate into a day-to-day return that invest long-term for your health. So really good episode there on really small things, when sometimes we make things, especially health, more complicated and more drawn out, or maybe we keep delaying all the time because we think, oh, I can't do anything now, or I have to wait until Saturday to work out. There are things that you can do on a day-to-day basis, really, really small things, easy to do, easy to incorporate. And then once you start doing them, you take those tiny steps, lo and behold, you start building these habits and they will stay there for a lifetime. Yeah. And then after that, what?
Like putting water in front of me so I drink more.
That's right. Or the carrot in front of the donkey or whatever when they walk with the donkey. Maybe that's not quite the best analogy to use.
That's okay.
That's really there's nothing about habits, I guess. And then we had the Physician on Fire. That was Dr. Leif Dahleen of the blog of the same name, Physician on Fire. Very popular with physicians, with FIRE standing for Financially Independent Retire Early. Which really caught a lot of notice, I think, in the last 8 to 10 years, I think, but has been around for a long time under different names. We talked to him about his sort of journey, what was his kind of background was like, when did he became interested in the FIRE movement, which was interesting. In that episode, he mentions that he kind of figured out he was actually fired before he even knew the term fired. So good episode there, kind of go in those backgrounds again. And there's also some really easy things to incorporate from that episode as well. Simple financial steps on your kind of journey to financial independence. And then after that, we had a deep dive where Melissa and I talk about our takeaways from that particular episode. Again, kind of discussing some important concepts. The number one, which I'm remembering off the top of my head, was environment. Being around and learning this stuff. So if you feel like you're delayed on this journey, that perhaps you didn't have that financial knowledge, and then you're like coming in and you think you're late to the game, you're not alone. I would wager the majority of people don't have much financial knowledge as compared to the few that do. And then sometimes we forget that other people don't have that. So how do you plant those seeds? What do you need to know now? What kind of environment maybe that you want to groom in your immediate vicinity for your friends and your family? If you're having kids, how do you want to kind of start these discussions about financial independence? Because it's something that you can start really, really early on with your kids for sure. If you were later in life when you learned about this stuff. So we talk about the deep dive there. And then after that, we will have, which I'll post next Thursday, an episode on why change is hard. And it'll be a little bit of a different episode. I'm not going to talk any more about it than that, other than to say that you should probably listen to that one if you've ever feeling stuck, or if you're feeling that you get that nothing ever changes. Or for whatever reason, despite everything that you do, you see the patterns still come back over and over again. So that'll be an interesting episode on why change is hard. And that was what has happened and what will happen. And now we're back to Dr. Melissa Cady.
Yeah, and now we're back. You did the past and the future, and we're
Yep.
going to stick to the present of our gratitude for the most recent week and what we're grateful for. And I will start off with saying, um, grateful for friends and family because connection is important. And we all are social beings. And so it's, even if you like to be reclusive in some sort of way, being connected to somebody or something, maybe it's your pet, is important. But I also want to extend a happy birthday to my brother, who is actually 15 months younger than me. I won't say his age, but I'm 47. So anyway, just want to say happy birthday to him. I don't know if you'll hear it, but at least I'm putting it out there in the universe, and I've already said happy birthday last night, the pre-birthday happy birthday message.
Happy birthday. Well, and it's this act of gratitude that you are grateful that your brother is out there, that your brother's having birthdays.
And spending time with his friends this evening for dinner. So I'm glad he's got something nice to do. So
very cool. Very cool. Well, happy birthday, Melissa's brother.
Yeah, Brian.
Happy birthday, Brian, Melissa's brother.
What about you? What's your gratitude?
This was a tough one. Last week I did the friends and family because we were on vacation. We were actually on vacation with my mother, my sister, brother-in-law, my adopted and everything but named brother, and it was a fantastic week. And then I didn't want to repeat that though. And the other thing that was recurring over and over again is just how gorgeous the state that we live in is. And so for those of you who don't know, I live in Oregon. My background growing up was in Nevada, and I love my state that I came from. And I've always kind of felt weird not being there. And but I haven't lived in the state for 20 something, almost 25 years at least. Wow. Probably. And so my heart is always in Nevada, but I got to tell you, I love Oregon. It's a great state, and it's a gorgeous state. And we were on the coast, and the bedroom that my wife and I had, literally there's windows. So you're lying in bed and you're looking at the ocean.
Wow. That's
every
really
day.
Cool.
And it's just like, it's great. And then where we stayed is close to our house because we had some duties that we had to do over here. So we periodically had to have to come driving back over during the week. The drive is gorgeous. So I was going to originally say the Oregon coast, but I'm just going to appreciate Oregon because I just love Oregon. It's more and more like home every day. Not leaving you, Nevada. I still love you, but I do love my new state that we live in. So I'm appreciative of Oregon. And if you guys haven't been here and want to visit, you don't have to move here because
they can stay with you. I'm just kidding.
You can visit, I'll be like those jerks that move someplace and then say, oh, nobody else can move here. You can visit as long as you don't crowd it up. But no, it is as gorgeous. Our coast is just insanely beautiful here.
Yeah. My husband would say, go Ducks, but
No, you would not. You would say, go Beavs. Go Beavs.
He probably does like the Beavs. I think
he has to like the Beavs. My son's going to be a Beaver in like 3 weeks.
He probably loves the Beavers too. I don't know.
You tell him no ducks. We don't like ducks.
Okay. So go Beavs.
Go Beavs. Yeah. The Beavers. And the beaver, like if you look at the animals, right? You got ducks and you got beavers. Which one would you actually rather want to be? The industrious beaver who builds and makes a like home. Yeah, and creates this pond where it replenishes life around you, or the selfish ducks that go to the pond and don't really contribute anything other than pooping in the water and causing like parasitic diseases and things. No, beavers. You want to be a beaver.
You've heard it here. Be a beaver, not a duck.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, that's awesome. No, I think it's a beautiful state, and no, that's a great thing to be grateful for. And yeah, I'm looking forward to visiting again one day. So
one day.
Anyway, well,
all right. Well,
that is our Saturday salutations. Unless you have something else to add there, Kevin.
No, I think that is a good salutations to everybody out there, and I hope the end of not the technical end of summer, but the way we end summer is coming up soon on Labor Day, and I hope you guys are closing out your summer with wonderful things in connecting with friends and family, staying home, being safe, being vaccinated, socially distant outside. I guess there'll be a little PSA on this is if you're not vaccinated, please get vaccinated. If you are vaccinated, stay safe. Make sure you're doing the mask, not necessarily to protect yourself, because as we're vaccinated, we are pretty well protected, but you're trying to protect others because we can still spread it. And then the biggest one is be real careful driving and be real careful of your health. For those of you who don't know, the hospitals are full of unvaccinated people who are clogging up all the ICUs. Yeah. And we're already getting stories now of people who have been vaccinated and doing everything right and are dying tragically from preventable measures because there's no beds available. So stay safe, stay home, enjoy your loved ones. And it's, I don't know what else to say.
Well, I will also add on to that and say, our human body is amazing, and we have the capacity to build immunity. And regardless of what people's beliefs are, there's multiple ways of building that immune system. And if you can get a head start by exposing it to a very small portion, not the actual full virus, to allow your body to do its magnificent things and create these antibodies, I'd say go for it, because everything that Kevin just said is true. And if you don't believe it, we've got friends in the industry, and we know that there is a struggle and there's a huge demand for people with these COVID surges. And yes, they're predominantly the severely sick ones are the unvaccinated. For some reason, I feel like people don't really understand that, yes, you could get sick, but it's the level of intensity mortality that comes with this whole unvaccinated situation that you're gambling. And we have the brains and the human capacity to understand how to create these amazing vaccines, that we have the opportunity to get ahead of it. And so I hope you all take advantage of that instead of gambling with the wild type virus that you never know how it's going to affect you. So,
well, and just remember, if you're choosing to gamble, you're not only gambling with your life, you're gambling with other people's life, because this has never been about, we lost focus very early on. The lockdowns, when they first began in 2020, were not like to eliminate COVID. Yeah. What they were really about is to prevent the hospital system from getting overwhelmed.
Yep.
The hospital system is overwhelmed.
Yeah.
What this means is that if you're choosing not to get vaccinated and you take up one of those beds, you very well could be in someone else who is vaccinated, doing everything right. I mean, I just posted a story today on my personal page about a veteran who died of gallstone pancreatitis. This is generally in our modern healthcare system. This is something that if you have the resources, finally an ERCP, that can be corrected with very, very, very low morbidity associated with it. And certainly not a lot of mortality associated with it. But because of the delay in care, because there was no beds available, this veteran died. This veteran was vaccinated. This guy had survived 2 tours in Afghanistan, and he died at home because there were no beds, because they're full of unvaccinated people. So I was going to try to stay back, but it's so upsetting to me. So upsetting to me that this is happening.
Yeah. And my last thing I'll say is that, first of all, it shouldn't be political. This is a public health issue. That the, I just lost my thought because I just got intensely focused on that thought. The other thought, these are situations where you don't throw out, I know I have friends that are kind of anti-vaccine things and whatnot, but you don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. There is a time and a place for medicine. There's times and places where it's not necessary, and you have to use your common sense to look at the broad picture, and not just throw out everything when it comes to traditional medicine. There are some very good acute care situations that medicine serves a wonderful role for, and human beings have used their intellect that they've been given naturally to make those decisions on what is, maybe makes sense. So I know you're laughing over there, but it does not make sense. It's such a difficult topic, but if you are going to throw out the entire medical system and think that you can't trust it completely, then don't. I mean, honestly, there are physicians out there that have a hard time being compassionate, as much as they will still do their job. it is hard to swallow to see people that suddenly decide they want to come to the hospital after they distrusted the entire system to begin with. So, really think about what is the reasoning behind this. And, this is oh gosh, another episode. Anyway.
I was just thinking about that, because this is not actually about just vaccines. There's a whole lot of things
Yes.
where people do this whole, I don't trust the medical system, and then something goes wrong and they run to it.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm like, okay, if you don't believe in it, then stay out of it.
Right. Right.
I mean, it's really not that hard. Be congruent with what your beliefs are. But anyway,
it's definitely very inconsistent and incongruent, like you said. We just want you all to be safe, use your common sense, the intellect we've been given, and really think about things. Think about the commonsensical aspect of what's going on. This is not just your, random little episode of something. This is like a pandemic, people. We're still in it, and you need to still play your part, unless you want to just be all about you and not think of a community at large. So we can't control everything. We can just speak our truth and hope that everyone is safe and healthy. And thank you to all the people out there working on the front lines. And we look forward to seeing you on the next Saturday Salutations.
Absolutely. Stay well, folks.
Take care.